Assalamu alaikum friends, welcome back to the channel. Younes Charfaoui is here, and in this video we are going to see 3 best practices for Kotlin flows. Let's get started. So here I'm having a simple project in IntelliJ. I will just showcase the example with this thing right here with delay, with an emit and so on. This is flow that will get some data, some 1 to 10. So the first best practice is related to the state flow. When you, for example, you have view model in your Android or in any class and you expose a state flow, always try to expose the immutable one. Of course, you will have a mutable state flow in order to change the data, but exposing just the immutable one and making the mutable one private will ensure the updates will happen on your class only. So with that, you won't go into condition you don't want to. So here, for example, I'm just creating private state flow. And this is just a mutable state flow. Of course, we denote usually with this underscore. And then from this state flow, I will create another state flow, and I have to declare its interface like that with the state flow and not the mutable state flow. And I can assign it with the normal state flow. So that's the first practice. Always expose the immutable version of your state flow. The other best practice is using dispatchers with the flow on method. So let's say, for example, I'm just getting this data. And well, I can collect, I can do many things, but something I can do is the flow on. I can give it the dispatcher and coroutine context here. You can give it coroutine context like that, for example, dispatcher.io, for example, and maybe I can do something with that. Let's say I will map this number, I will just multiply them by 3, and I can always change the context. Like I can change it now to the, for example, the main thread or something else. Now using this flow on, we'll change the context for the upstream flow. Just remember that. So this flow on dispatcher IO, we change it for this get data, but this main will be applied to this one. All right. So it's always changing for the upstream. Just know that. Now, this is a bad way to use the dispatcher and the coroutine context here. Always try to provide this dispatcher via the instructor or some parameter thing. Why? Because, well, this is a bad example. I'm using this in the main, but let's say you are using it here in the view model. And let's say I'm having a function that upload or get the data, for example, and in which we are using this one. It would be best practice if you get this dispatcher from the outside. Let's do coroutine context here, and let's just call it the IO dispatcher, like the following, and you can put it here directly. Now that way, let's say we want to test this view model and we want to test this upload data. We can swap this IO dispatcher with the dispatcher that is responsible for testing, like test dispatcher or test context or something like that. So always prefer injecting your dispatcher from constructor or other means. Mainly we use it from the constructor. So that's better. We will do the same for this main thing. All right. So that's it for the second best practice. Now for the third best practice is to use the catch operator. Let's give an example here. Let's say I'm having this one in the main. I'm just multiplying by 3 and just printing it. Let me just see if it's working correctly or not. So yeah, exactly, it is working correctly. I'm just delaying and emitting. Let's try to catch some error. Let me just hear if the number, if it is 9, I would just throw an exception, like if I equal to 9. If I run this right now, it will produce an error on the 9. Exactly, here it is producing the error and it will stop. As you can see, 9 must be 27. It will stop directly from here. Okay, this is the exception. Now you can catch the error in 2 ways. First of all, you can just do it like following, like you can surround it with try and catch. And here in the exception, you will just do the exception, e.print message or something. Just try it again. You will see it will exactly. Voila, it's an error and it will stop, as you can see. We can do it that way, or we can do it another way. We can delete that because that's a lot of code, and we can do it here. We can do it the catch here. And here in the catch, you will get an exception. You get throwable here. You can print it, of course. You can do S out and the it. Okay. Now, if you run it, look what's happening. Exactly, it will be like the same as we did before. Now, this catch block will always catch what? Will catch upstream errors. Let's say here I will do just on each, I think. Exactly. So here on each one, if I do this right now and I run it again, you will see at 21, it will produce an error. Why? Because we didn't catch it. As this catch will catch only the upstream errors. So try to use this carefully and wisely. Well, we can put it here. like example, and that way it won't produce an error. It will catch it, it will stop, but it will stop here as you can see, and it won't produce the second error because it's stopped. So that's it for the third best practice. Always use the catch block right here to catch the upstream errors. And finally, another bonus best practice if you want so, try to not use Kotlin flows at all if you don't use it. Like, code in general is a liability, it's not an asset. If you can reduce some code for some reason, try to do so. Like, if you don't have to use Kotlin flows, for example, let's say you have only one shot call, for example, for an API, you can use normal suspendable function coroutines to do so. You don't have to use Kotlin flows for the sake of using Kotlin flows because it's something good, like the library, the community is talking about it and everything. Don't use it for the sake of using it. Use it if you have a use case that will require Kotlin flows to optimize certain tasks. Because when you use it, you have to maintain it, you have to test it, you have to see everything related to it. But if you don't need it, like, you can just delete it and replace it with something simpler. Code is a liability, it's not an asset. So to recap, these are 4 best practices for using Kotlin Flow. First of all, don't use immutable state flow outside the class you are using the flow in it. The second is to use the dispatchers and the coroutine context in the flow on method for the flow. The third one is to use the catch operator to catch upstream flow errors. And finally, as a bonus best practice, try to not use Kotlin flows if you don't need it. Use like normal suspendable function or use simpler code because, as we said, code is liability, it's not an asset. Thanks a lot for watching this video till the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and see you in the next videos. Salam alaikum.